The little emotional guilt trips about how funny I have to be to justify their attendance. Like, oh, I hope it's a good gig tonight, John. We've not been out for 6 years since our cat got asthma. As if it's my fault you got a wheezy cat in the frigging house. And then I just get random charity ones out of nowhere. Every day someone will say, oh, could you just retweet this Just Giving page? My uncle's walking to Spa for men who can only raise one eyebrow. I read them. I think that's not a charity, is it? Or a deed. I think that's a scam. If I retweet that, I'm going to be in the papers. I think, what if that is a thing? And I get it now and I have to say to people, yeah, I didn't believe it was a thing either until I got it. That's why they don't get the funding. Every gig is more stress, more people. I'm still worried about people from gigs and gigs ago. Last year on this tour, I got shingles. The old man's disease, shingles, which, with all due respect, you do not get when you're a young, spunky piece of ass like this. I didn't know shingles was chickenpox. If you've ever had chickenpox, you might get shingles. You never cure yourself. You neutralise it and you file it in your body. It stays there all your life. It knocks on every now and again. It goes, shingles. When you're young, you go, piss off, I'm working. And then as you get older, it's a bit like Jehovah's Witnesses. Eventually it knocks on, you go, come in, I'll be glad of the company. You just get shingles because you're too tired not to have shingles, to be honest. And it doesn't attack your whole body like chickenpox. It picks one nerve. And in my case, it was the nerve that starts there on the back and just runs across the left breast there. And your first warning signs, it goes a bit itchy like that. But it's quite nice to scratch it. So you know something's wrong because you're getting stared at in Asda. He's down the cereal aisle for about half an hour like that. You can hear people coming, oh, we'll come back for the shreddies, kids. Let that man get his breakfast first. I bet he masturbates in the hairdressers, dirty pig. So he keeps scratching, it gets sore and sore. Eventually we were watching telly and my wife said, what's the matter? And we talked about it. She's much more proactive than I am, so she said, you're going to have to go to the doctors, right? So Friday morning I went to the doctors and I described it and I said, look, I think I've got shingles. And she said, well, it does sound like shingles, Mr. Richardson, but to put your mind at rest, you can't possibly have shingles, you're far too young. And I said, well, is it possible to have shingles of the soul? I said, because I might look young to you, but inside I'm thrice the age I appear. And she said, well, you've used the word thrice there, so perhaps it is shingles. I said, thrice isn't a word for your generation. I said, well, can I take something? It's really hurting. She said, well, I don't want to give you the shingles medication. It's really strong. You have to take it for a month. Go away over the weekend and see what happens. Now, what happened that weekend is this itching became a line of weeping, pus-ridden sores. Not the best weekend of my life, that one, if I'm to be honest with you. Not the worst. I lived in Swindon 5 years, but not the best. So I got an emergency appointment. I went back on Monday and I showed her like that. She went, fucking tits on that. Felt was a bit unprofessional, to be honest. But they are lovely. That's the state of the NHS these days, isn't it? You know, until we get out and that 350ml kicks in. But for now, we're stuck. So I showed her. I said, what do you think? She said, well, I'm afraid you have got shingles. I said, well, I told you that. Can I have the medication now? No word of a lie. She said, yeah, I'm afraid it's too late. I should have given you that on Friday. Do laugh, because it is funny, isn't it? It's fucking hilarious is what it is. We had a right laugh. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? She said, well, I'm afraid there's nothing you can do now except go home and try and relax. Shingles is stress-related. You need to try and calm down. And nothing chills you out like a couple of weeks at home, sat on your own couch, mopping pus off your tits. Just every day felt like a holiday in the Bahamas. It really did. I shout, bring us another kitchen roll and some lil. I'm having the time of my life here. I really am. Now you just get your phone out, you send me some abuse. It's quite simple. I even understand the mentality behind it. I think it's unhappiness. I think these are unhappy people and they see me as someone who has a better life than they deserve. I just complain for a living, that's what I do. And that can be upsetting, you know. I even understand that. I had some dark years. You know, I'm glad Twitter wasn't around. I lived in Swindon for 5 years. It's not a bad place, but I think when you're in your mid-20s and you could live anywhere in the world for your job and you pick Swindon, it is a sign there's something wrong. I lived above some garages and I would get drunk at night, and had Twitter been around, I think I would have been a troll. I think I would have seen people on telly and sent them abuse, just because it's easier to make someone else feel bad than lift your own circumstances, isn't it? So random people, nice people, just like at Nick Knowles, just, are you going to build a house or host a quiz? Why don't you fucking pick one? Got off to bed, I told that bloody Nick Knowles. You delete him in the morning, you think, oh, he seems quite nice, and I just cried watching DIY SOS. That's what's happened there. I've lashed out. And he does seem lovely, doesn't he? I even stopped doing that joke for a while because I thought he seems nice, but then he brought an album out, so I brought it back. I felt he was provoking me there, to be honest. Nick Knowles has got an album out, if you're unaware, which begs the question, what is wrong with the world? And more specifically, what is wrong with Nick Knowles? Why has nobody close to him just taken him aside and said, I know you like singing, Nick, but don't do that. It's no one else's fault. We all sing in the shower. If you want, get your shed converted, turn it into a studio. You know, you've got contacts. I'm sure you could do it for now in a weekend if you wanted to, but don't release an album, mate. I honestly think he's gone mad. I think you watch DIY SOS, it's powerful telling, isn't it? I always cry watching it, and you think, I realise for Nick Knowles, he spent the last 10 years around people in tears telling him what a good guy he is. He's just gone insane. He just thinks he's single-handedly keeping the country together here. Single-handedly reversing Tory cuts, Nick Knowles, and he's seen the music news over the last couple of years. He's thought, well, Prince has gone, Bowie's gone. Knowles, he's going to have to get his guitar out here, I think. I'm going to have to do for the music industry what I did for that 3-bed semi in Romford. Make it relevant for the people again. I don't understand the logic behind it. But, you know, these men, they send me the abuse, and I don't mind. And it's that thing is, I think they just think my life is better than it is. I think they see me and they think, right, I'll bring him down a peg. They think I'll do a gig like tonight. I'll come straight off the back of the stage and there'll be a limousine waiting for me there, and that'll whisk me straight off to the Blackpool Ritz. You probably don't know about the Blackpool Ritz. They wouldn't let your sort in, to be honest. It's not really for you. It's underneath Marks and Spencer's. You go underneath there, and you go to like a big marble top bar like that. It's only famous people in there. I'll go in there. Ed Sheeran will be there. He's just done Blackpool Arena. Go up to Ed. I go, hi Ed, you don't know me, but I'm also famous. I go, oh bloody hell, of course I know you, mate. How you doing? That's Ed Sheeran. If you haven't heard him talk, that's me, Ed Sheeran impression there. I do about 3 impressions throughout the gig. I've learned from doing it. It's just easier for you if I tell you who it is first. Don't want to leave you hanging. I'll just tell you and then I'll do it. I'll throw a physical clue in if I can, like the guitar. He's always writing into your head. What you up to? I'm writing a song about these peanuts. Just put the guitar down and enjoy your life, Edward, please. Everything's going fine. I don't know if you've heard the albums. They're on everything. They really are. Every radio station and advert. Sometimes they're on the breeze. I can be on Headland, miles from anywhere. I just hear, I'm in love with your body. He's on the wind. Just relax. What do you want to drink, mate? You say, I'll have a porn star martini. I say, barman, 3 porn star martinis. Just tip the 3rd one on the floor, because some people are poor. And then Ed and I will just drink and talk about all the other celebrities we know. I don't know if you know this, celebrities we only hang around with each other, because then we've got that to talk about, you know, what could you tell us of life? So Ed will say to me, what are you doing this summer then, John? I say, well, I'm actually going on a canal boating holiday with Diane Abbott and Peter Crouch. You wouldn't think we'd get on, would you? But, you know, it's a cracking triumvirate, it really is. We have a right laugh. You know, Crouch is not cut out for barge living, obviously, but he makes an effort for Diane. She fires him up politically. He comes away so alive. And, you know, in return, he's making her quite a deadly 6-yard striker. He really is. So it's tit for tat, really. And we'll have a laugh. Eventually, Ed gets drunk and just wanders off like that. I say, where are you going to, mate? He says, I've got to talk to girls and see if from somewhere I'm going to do a song about them. OK, don't do Galway, mate. You've already done that one. I go, yeah, cheers, mate. She was from Cleveland's. Look forward to hearing line 2. Off Ed goes. I'll go upstairs to my room, puke everywhere, get off to the next gig. I think that's what these men think my life is like, and it's not, you know, very rarely anyway. Don't see so much of Ed since he stepped up a venue size. And that's when I'll start checking my phone. I'll get my phone out and I'll check my Twitter, and I'm not going to lie to you, all the abuse that comes in, I screen grab it and I keep it in a folder on my phone, just in case I ever develop any self-esteem, you know. Some days I wake up, I think, do you know what? I feel all right about myself. I ever read of that, I think, oh no, you're awful. You're awful. I show them to my kids when they're older. Look how much people used to hate your daddy. What did you do to upset them, Dad? Mostly anagrams towards the end. So, I've usually got it up ready, and that's not a sentence I've fucking used in my life. There we go. So this is the sort of thing I'm looking for. Now, I'll show you that. I know you're not going to be able to read that, but I only show you it so you know it's real, right? I don't want you to think I've made this up, because some of this language is quite ripe, and I would hate for you to think I've made this up to upset you. This is the sort of conversation 2 lads will have about me of an evening, and they copy me in case I'm curious. So this one come in last year. It starts off, a guy called Bob, about 10 o'clock, he tweets me. He says, I've never liked Jon Richardson. Right, that's a good start, isn't it? Never. Because never's not just me as a comedian, is it? Never's my whole life. Never suggests, like, even when I was a kid, this guy was just walking up and down his corridor. Oh, there's a little prick somewhere. There's a little Super Mario Brothers cardigan on. I bet he's down at the playground checking for stones in a sandpit so no one gets hurt at playtime. He's got me bang on, to be fair. He says, I've never liked Jon Richardson. Imagine the first day he saw me on telly. Poor bastard, hard day at work, sits down with his tea, puts the telly on. You are shitting me. How many years have I been telling you I hate this prick, Margaret? All your life, Bob. All my life, Margaret! He's finally had enough last year. He tweets me, he says, I've never liked Jon Richardson. He's about as funny as. Right, and these are always my favourites, because then you get a funny little image, and if you've not heard it before, it makes you laugh. They'll generally say something like, he's about as funny as a shit on a bouncy castle. And you can't help but laugh if you haven't. It's instantly picturable, innit? Just everyone at the fair having a good old bounce like that. Someone clocks the turd on that front edge. Selfishly, they think, well, I'll just bounce away from it. I'll just bounce away from it. Of course, because of the physics, it chases after them, doesn't it? Pretty soon, they're all pinned up on that back wall. Stop bouncing, Vicar! Stop bouncing! You can't stop bouncing, can you? You throw yourself down, you'll only bounce higher. They're up higher, the turd's up higher. It's nutting people now. Just get it off me. I'm done with that image there. If you enjoyed it, carry it on in your own leisure. I've never worked out how the turd gets off the bouncy castle. Do get back to me. I don't know if someone volleys it off like that, or maybe someone scoops it up. A hero takes it on the chest, literally, and tries to get it out of there. Anyway, we don't know. We don't know. He didn't go with that anyway. He went a different direction, Bob. He says, I've never liked Jon Richardson. He's about as funny as a Yugoslavian rapist. Yeah. It gets that reaction everywhere, so don't feel bad. A few sort of shocked whoops there, and some people start laughing and think, oh shit, no one else is laughing, I probably shouldn't. And someone laughs too loud and too early, as if to say, oh, I forgot I'd written that. Now, obviously, the second work is gruesome, isn't it? The second word's horrific. He's trying to be brutal there, but it's the first one, isn't it? It's that first word you think, well, where do the Yugoslavians come into this? I was looking at that thinking, there hasn't been a Yugoslavia since the early 90s. He must have Googled, where are the least funny rapists? I guess he's been linked to a survey from sometime in the 80s, you know, when that sort of thing didn't seem so deplorable, and he's thought, well, I'll just go with the stats as given. So he sent that in. I was staring at that for ages, thinking I'm going to have to reply to him. Just say, look, Bob, I know you don't like me, but can I ask why you said Yugoslavian? Because I can't sleep. I didn't get a chance anyway. His mate Mel replies. So Mel's obviously up. He's seen that message and he gets all excited. He's like, oh, we're hating someone. Yeah! I was nearly going to go to bed. I'd have missed this. Right, so he's all excited. He's got a slight problem, Mel, that he doesn't know who I am. It shouldn't stop him hating me, should it? So his first message is just a fact-finding mission. He says to Bob, he says, which one's Jon Richardson? Right, it's not that upsetting, really, that, is it? No apostrophe S in ones, but I didn't get into that. You know, I'll be honest, there's bigger trouble coming for me than his spelling and grammar. Which is otherwise impeccable, I have to say. Capital W, capital JR, question mark with a double space. You don't see a lot of that. No H in my John. I've got mates who can't remember that. So the guy can obviously spell, he just doesn't use apostrophes, which suggests there's some other reason he's not using them. I start to think, well, maybe he's worried we're going to run out. Maybe he's sick of going in the butcher's, seeing sausages with an apostrophe S. You know, most of us just move on, not Mel. He's looking at that thinking, stop bloody wasting them. Stop wasting them, we're going to run out. I'm not putting mine on Thinternet, I'll put them down in basement. They'll all come round Mel's house come the shortage. Mel, can I have one of your apostrophes? I'll say, no, you should have looked after your own. Now he's got a basement full of them, and they just waist high. He gets naked once a month and just slides into them like that. Rubs them all over his nipples. So, who possesses all the possessives? You do, Melvin. You do. Oh, bloody hell, what's that? That's a comma. That shouldn't be down here. That should be over there in Commodore 64. Don't, please. Don't. You'll watch it back and you'll hate yourself for clapping at that. You really will. So anyway, he says to Bob, he says, which one's Jon Richardson? The little gay-looking cunt. You laugh till you're finished, by all means. Can I thank you there for making that the longest laugh of the night so far? That's really lovely to come to Blackpool and have them unite as one to say, well, that is bang on, that really is. As a 4-word description of your work, John, that is absolutely perfect. I mean, you're right. Bob rounds the whole chat off. He says, that's the one. That's him. Naturally. I screen grab that. I look at it every day. And every day it cheers me up. Because those are real men. Those are actual men who exist. And that is a part of their life. They're going to die one day. And that conversation is a part of their life. And I start to think, maybe they hate me in person now. You know, like any hobby, it starts online. You get into it. Maybe now they meet up at weekends and their wives make them a little packed lunch. Are you off hating, Bob? They go, yeah. Who are you hating this weekend? You've always hated him, haven't you? Yes, since he was a kid, I fucking hated him. Where are you hating him this weekend? At the seaside. Meet up on the special bench they've arranged to meet up and they eat the sandwiches and hate me for a bit. I ate his shoes. Yeah, good one, Bob. And his eyebrows. Yeah, good one, Mel. Eat their sandwiches and then they drink their drink and it's all finished. They probably hang around for another hour or two just looking out to sea because sometimes their little fingers touch just there and they never mention it, but it's electric for the pair of them. It really is. That's Bob and Mel, you know. And the reality is I don't let tweets like that upset me because I'm never going to meet them, am I? And if I did, they'd probably be nice to me because that's what people are like, they're cowards. And I know that because I know how I feel when I beat my horn and someone stops their car. I shit my pants. I shit my pants and I apologise and I say it was probably my fault. You didn't need to indicate. It should have been clear why you were reversing round that roundabout.